Dear members, faculty, guests, and delegates of the Apache 2021 virtual conference, I'm delighted to welcome you and as the moderator for this opening ceremony. I look forward to having you here with us today. My name is Dr. Agnes Leung of the Chinese University of Hong Kong, and I'm also the co-chair of the Junior Member Committee. I have great pleasure in introducing today's guest of honor for the Apache 2021 International Conference opening ceremony. We have been graced by three very special guests, as well as our president, Professor Ruby Pawanka, for this opening ceremony. Now, allow me to introduce to you our guest of honor and keynote speaker, Dr. Katie Allen, a member of parliament with the Australian government, who is also a medical doctor and analogist. She has been a politician as well as a former medical researcher and has been a member of the House of Representatives since the 2019 federal election. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Katie Allen.
Hello, everyone from right around the world. I'm delighted to be here at the opening session of Apache for 2021. I'd like to say thank you to all of you who have joined from around the world for this very important conference, Asia Pacific Allergy Conference, and to thank the President, Professor Ruby Pawanka, and her wonderful team for initiating and organising this conference. Thank you for joining us across Zoom. I'm sorry we can't meet in person. I've been asked to speak to you because I am a paediatrician and allergist who has moved into the world of politics. And I've been asked so many times by so many people, why on earth would you do that? And my answer has always been that it's actually the next natural step for me. So many of you have been on the journey I've been on, which is firstly putting your hand up to go to medical school, to care for people. And doctors care deeply for those that they have as their patients. But more than that, doctors also care in a public health way for the good of the population. So my background originally was in lab-based research, and I moved from the bench to the bedside as a lab researcher and clinician, but then became an epidemiologist and worked in the area of food allergy. And it was a wonderful career to be able to try to understand why in Australia, food allergy is the capital of the world when it comes to prevalence of food allergy, and try to understand why it was on the rise. But I found myself over and over again wanting to make a bigger difference. And so for me, doctors and particularly paediatricians are well positioned to put their hand up to be a leader of our community. So I decided to run politically and to be a member of parliament in the Australian government. And I am often asked, how different is it from your previous life? And why on earth would you do it? And my best way of describing what being a politician is like is that there is the contest of ideas, just like there is in science. And if you play the ball and not the man, which is a game you might play in soccer, where it's important to make sure you're delivering the outcomes and playing by the rules rather than personally attacking, you can actually have a highly enjoyable time in politics, even though it's tough, it's hard work, and it's highly contested. But just like in science, where you have to have resilience, you have to work hard, and you have to really care about making the right decisions, so too for politics. But being a member of parliament is a little bit like being a community doctor in Australia. I have 110,000 constituents in Higgins, which is the electorate that I am actually the member for. And like a doctor, I have clinics where people come to me and I try to solve their problems, whether it's visa issues or welfare issues. They'll make a time, they'll email me. My staff will organise for me to have a catch up, just like doctors do with their clinics. So being a local MP is like being a doctor for your community, but you're solving different problems than you might be as a doctor for an allergy patient. But then being running a campaign for an election is a bit like deciding to be a medical researcher, where you have an idea, you gather the resources, you raise the funds, you galvanise volunteers to support you, you do some media. Those are all parts of a political campaign, just like they are a campaign for medical research, where you're wanting to raise the resources in order to run the project and get the job done. And then being up in Canberra, which is where our federal parliament here is in Australia, is not unlike being at an international conference. And I know that we're all on Zoom here today with Apache, but having been just like so many of you and travelled around the world to meet with my colleagues about how to solve problems, coming together in one place, whether it's Apache or the World Allergy Organization, YACI or Quadruple AI, we come together as medical researchers with different voices, speaking different languages and having different experiences and having different scientific evidence, but we're trying to work out how to find a common ground to move the area forward for our patients and for our communities and for our population. And so too in the federal parliament in Australia, where people come from across the country with different views about how to solve the problems for Australia and the world, which might be how to respond to COVID or how to respond to climate change. So the different voices come together in order to find a common ground and a solution for the taxpayers of Australia. So it's been a great privilege to be a politician, having been a medical researcher and doctor for my entire clinical and medical career. But I've also been asked, how can policy be helped by innovation? And with my experience as a member of parliament, I do have an opportunity to influence the future of our healthcare system, the future of how patients are cared for with allergy, and some of the bigger ideas about how to act on climate change. And that happens through a number of different ways. And in Australia, because we're a democratic nation, any constituent can ring up their local member or write an email to their local member. And as their representative, I need to listen to them, take their views into account when I'm deciding which way I'll vote in the federal parliament. But many of the decisions are made in the corridors of parliament, in the conversations that we have, but most importantly, in the committee rooms. And I'm lucky to be a member of 7 different parliamentary committees, which includes the Health Committee, the Science and Technology Committee, Communication and Arts Committee, as well as a Committee on Indigenous Voice for Recognition, and a further Committee of Trade and Investment Growth, and finally a Committee on the National COVID Health and Research Advisory Committee. And all of those committees have jobs to do, which is to mount inquiries or to seek answers to questions that the Parliament may be asking. So it's been a great privilege, for instance, to be sitting on the National COVID Response Committee, which meets every week. And that committee brings together 93 medical professionals from across Australia, in fact, medical professors from across Australia, to answer the questions about how Australia should respond to the COVID crisis, to the global pandemic, using an evidence-based approach. And that committee was one that I called for, so I'm very proud of that committee. It includes a member from the opposition, Dr. Mike Freelander, who's also a paediatrician, and as I said, more than 93 medical research and health professionals who are professors in their own area to respond to what is facing the world with regards to COVID. I've also sat on the Science Committee and called for a recycling and waste inquiry, which is also helping us to inform how we respond to climate change and how to increase our action on climate. But I've also been speaking and sitting on a number of different committees that help to influence, for instance, our health response, whether it's not related to COVID, but related to mental health or to better service access for patients. So I'm very proud of the fact that Australia has rolled out a massive program of telehealth through the COVID pandemic, having worked with the Minister before COVID came to try and expand the telehealth services, and the Minister for Health was ready and willing to expand them more quickly when COVID was coming at us at speed. So being able to speak to the Minister for Health, to be able to speak to the Executive of the Government, to be able to meet with the Prime Minister about issues that are important to the people of Higgins, hopefully using an evidence-based approach, which is, as I say, in my DNA, being a medical professional, has helped me be able to help guide the decision-making of our government and therefore the impact it has on Australia's future. As I say, the decisions that governments make affect each and every one of us each and every day. And so it's a great privilege to serve my community and to serve my country as a member of Parliament. And I encourage any of you who wish to seek government office to put your hand up. I think doctors and scientists and engineers make wonderful politicians, but it's best to come with an experience and a skill set that you have developed in the sector. And so I encourage you as allergists to continue to support the development of the evidence base, to be a slave to development of knowledge, so that that can be presented in a bipartisan way to whoever is in government, whatever the flavour of the party, so that the government can be making good and wise evidence-based decisions for the future of the constituency of that particular country. Lastly, I'd like to say that allergy itself has a very important role to play with regards to helping people understand the risks that they face with COVID. So we know that the vaccines, some of them, particularly Pfizer, may have a small risk of anaphylaxis, for instance, or we know that people may be vaccine hesitant. And the role of allergists in understanding how to present risk is very, very important. And the role of medicos in general in understanding public health concepts is really powerful with regards to enabling and educating people to understand the decisions that are being made by governments right around the world, whether it's to undergo testing, to have to quarantine, to have to undergo lockdowns, or to indeed become vaccinated. It is the medical community that has been providing the evidence, supporting the decision-making and educating the population. So I really encourage the work that you are doing as an allergy group, as an allergy organisation, to support an evidence base, to help with the guidelines as they become available, and to help make this world a safer world for all. Congratulations to Apache. It's wonderful to be part of what you are doing, and I'm very, very proud that I'm also championing a national allergy strategy here in Australia, hoping it to get funded in the next couple of months by our federal government, so that Australians in medical and research areas can continue to contribute to your global knowledge on allergy. It's something that remains close to my heart. I'm a passionate advocate for allergy. It's a great honour to be here with you today, and I really look forward to a wonderful conference ahead. Thank you to Professor Ruby for the wonderful work you're doing. Congratulations, Apache.
Thank you, Dr. Katie Allen, for your excellent address on how policymaking can influence scientific innovation that can be translated towards better healthcare delivery and improve patient care. Now, I would like to welcome a few of our past presidents, among the many past presidents who have been playing a crucial role in establishing and shaping the development of Apache over the years. May I invite past presidents, Professor Yoo Young Kim from Korea, to share his address to Apache and the 2021 conference.
First of all, I'd like to give my warmest congratulations to the President Ruby Pawanka and the members of Apache for holding 2021 Apache Virtual Conference. I also would like to express my respect for the President Ruby Pawanka and the organizing committee members for their enthusiasm and efforts to hold this virtual conference in the middle of COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Yoo Young Kim, the former president of Apache, and I hope best wishes for the safety and health of the Apache members amid COVID pandemic. Even amid this pandemic, humanity has not despaired and kept on progressing. Many vaccines have been developed at an unprecedented speed that it felt like a military operation. Countries have achieved herd immunity, and some of them are now adopting living with COVID strategy. Apache has also shown passionate activities amid COVID pandemic. President Ruby Pawanka and her team conducted a very successful COVID-19 vaccine safety webinar in collaboration with WHO this April on a global platform with over 2,000 attendees. For this year, Apache has newly launched Science at the Edge, Science to Action, and JAFCA, which is a leadership program for junior members. I believe the JAPA program will open a door for our young doctors so that they find their role and contribute to the further growth of Apache. Today, we successfully opened the virtual conference with world-renowned speakers and more than 2,000 participants gathering through a virtual platform. For this year's conference, I have a special interest in important topics such as microbiome, epithelial barrier, climate change, and COVID-19, and also hope that participants engage in active discussions for each topic. I'm confident that the Apache 2021 conference will be an outstanding success and will mark as the fruitful meeting. I'm sure that Apache will continue to be a regional and global leader in allergy, asthma, and clinical immunology. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Yu Yong Kim. Now, I would like to invite past President, Professor Ronald Walls from Australia, to say a few words on his observation on the advancement of Apache.
Ladies and gentlemen, I applaud you for being part of this virtual meeting of the Asia Pacific Association this year. It gives you an excellent opportunity of educational advancement and keeping abreast of modern changes in immunology,
Hi, Professor.
allergy, clinical
Hello.
medicine, and scientific medicine. In these troubled times, it's so important to keep up with your education and to keep abreast of modern advances, particularly in our Asia-Pacific region, which is one of the most populous in the world. And more important than that even is the fact that it has a young a young demographic. As you know, allergic and immune-mediated diseases have a tendency to involve younger people. And this is particularly the case with allergic diseases, of course. Not only that, but there's also a distinct geographic influence on these diseases, again, particularly allergic diseases. So it's important to study them and be aware of them in our present context and our present environment. I've been very privileged to be a part of the Asia Pacific Association since its birth and infancy in the 1980s, through its teenage years until its coming of age in the year 2000, when it had a combined meeting with the World Allergy Organization in Sydney. Since then, it has gone from strength to strength and is still on an upward trajectory, thanks to the energetic and effective leadership of the team. I think it's important to continue to advance, and it's important to attend these virtual meetings like this. It's difficult to meet people face to face, but with modern technology, it's a great opportunity to keep up with things. So I would like to wish you all a very successful meeting.
Thank you, Professor Walls, for your kind words. Now, I would like to welcome past President, Professor Karnan Baratiwajaja from Indonesia, the founder president of Apache, to deliver his greetings to Apaches through the years.
Dear all, as one of the founders of Apache in 1989, and also as the first president of Apache, I'm very glad to see so many advances our organization has achieved at present. I have known our present Apache president, Professor Ruby Pawankar, personally for so many years. She has a very strong character, passionate, and also very broad perspective for further development in allergy and immunology. Her decision, vision, and valuable work has brought us many new initiatives from which we can continue building on. Among some that I wish to highlight are Science to Action, Science at the Edge, JASCA, APA-ACHI LG Week on COVID-19. Professor Rudby has also contributed through her many committee service and publications, all bringing great value to this field as we all share. Once again, please give a warm applause to our APA-ACHI President, Professor Ruby Pawanka. We greatly look forward to your further guidance. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Karnan. Finally, I would like to welcome Professor Ruby Pawanka, our APA-ACHI President and Chair of the 2021 conference, who is live with us from Tokyo to give her opening address and formally open the conference. Professor Pawanka, the stage is yours.
I'm Ruby Pawanka, the President of APA-ACHI and the Chair of the conference. I have with me here Professor Jiao Wang, President-elect and the co-chair, and Professor Bernard Thong, board member and chair of the scientific committee. Please see here our executive board, which includes the immediate past president, Professor Frank Thien, the first vice president, Professor Fujisawa, the second vice president, Professor Latif, the secretary general, Professor Chang, and our treasurer, Professor Lu Zhang. These are our board members, Professor Bernard Thong, Professor Hu Ji-yun, Professor Iris, Professor Liang, and Professor Vasu. These are our past presidents, and you did meet some of them as they gave us addresses. But as you can see here, this was founded in 1982-89, and Professor Karnan, Professor Montri Tuchinda, Professor Shie, Ishitai, Kevin Turner, Professor Miyamoto, Professor Kang, many of these people played a crucial role in the development of this and establishment of this organization. These are our APA-ACHI member societies. We are proud of our member societies, and we really are grateful to them for their continued contribution and collaboration to APA-ACHI and to the specialty in the region. I would like to give a personal thanks to all our reviewers of the abstracts. All our reviewers of the abstracts actually worked with very tight deadlines and really contributed so much to this conference. Thank you very much. And then a hearty congratulations to our award winners for the oral and the poster award winners. You have presented your excellent work and you are chosen to be the top awardees of this conference. We wish you the very best for your future work, and we look forward to your further presentation in the following conferences in APA-ACHI. I also thank all the people who submitted their abstracts to this conference, because all of your work is also very important. I would like to give a special thank to all our collaborating societies, the European Academy of Allergy, Asthma and Clinical Immunology, the American College of Allergy, Asthma and Clinical Immunology, the Federation of Clinical Immunology Societies, the World Allergy Organization, the Philippine Society of Allergy, Asthma and Immunology, the Taiwan Society of Academy of Allergy, Asthma and Clinical Immunology, Inunuma, and APA-PARI. All these societies have their symposia in this conference. Please attend them. And they also continuously contribute to our activities. They collaborate with us, and we have many such initiatives together. So we are very, very grateful to them. I would like to give a very personal thanks to also our industry partners for all their support towards this conference. Thank you very much to our industry partners, not only for supporting us, but for the excellent scientific sessions that you have put forward for this conference. Please note that all the sponsored symposia are live and they are excellent sessions. Please join the live symposia. And then to talk a bit about the history of the international conference. The international conference was first held in 2019 as the very first APA-ACHI International Conference, jointly with the Chinese Society of Allergology, under the leadership of Professor Lu Zhang and myself. And this was held in Beijing in 2019, September, and was a grand success. Following this, we have the 2021 International Conference today. Apache is also very grateful to all its committee leaderships and all the committee members through the many initiatives that they do, through surveys, through white papers, consensus documents, guidelines, educational modules, workshops, and webinars, and so on. They are continuously active through the many initiatives. Apache has several initiatives like Science to Action, where eminent scientists and clinician scientists who in their careers have made scientific discoveries and converted them into actionable new processes. We have Nobel laureate Peter Doherty over here actually doing the first Science to Action. We also have Dr. Katie Allen, who is a doctor turned politician who you just heard in our opening ceremony, also speaking in Science to Action. We have other initiatives like Science at the Edge, where work over the years have contributed to the understanding of a special area that is even beyond our specialty. For example, epithelial barrier hypothesis. Professor Chesme Agdis, the director of CIAF and the past president of YACI, and also the chief editor of Allergy, presents his work on epithelial barrier hypothesis at Science at the Edge, and is available on Apache TV. But please do attend Plenary 4 because he's speaking there in Plenary 4 on this work. We also have motivational conversations, which we have done with him, but we've also done with Professor Tatley, who has worked across 3 different continents and brings to us a lot of information that is so motivational for the younger generation. And this is our flagship program, the Apache JAFCA, the Junior Apache Allergy Leadership Forum and Cafe. As Professor Yu-Young Kim mentioned, this is our heart and soul. Our junior members are our heart and soul. They are the future. And to build a robust future is part of what Apache's vision is. So this is our first JAFCA led by Dr. Agnes Lang and also with Paxton and Sigrid, and was a great success, held on October 4th and available on Apache TV. Apache is on top of all things. During the pandemic, we are very active through a COVID-19 task force led by many of our board members, but also members of our member societies. And we have recommendations, guidelines, publications, latest news, all available in this resource center. And we also organize the Apache Allergy Week on the safe implementation of vaccines, as well as to address the facts and the myths of COVID-19. And we did this in collaboration with the World Health Organization. You can see here Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, who's the Chief Scientific Officer, and Dr. Maria Van Kerkhove, who's the technical lead for COVID-19 in the World Health Organization. And we had global and regional leaders in a panel discussing about this issue. And you capture all of our activities in Apache TV. So please subscribe to Apache TV, because here you'll be able to get everything, all the activities that we do. We put it up on our Apache TV, and please be part of the Apache community and Apache family. Finally, I'd like to again highlight that this history book is available on the website, and you can see the history of Apache by reading this book. And we are very proud of our Apache journal, the AP Allergy Journal, led by Professor Chung. And this is published 4 times a year. And please submit your papers to this journal. This is our own white paper published in the AP Allergy in 2019. And finally, I'd like to invite you to the Apache 2022 PASAI at 50 conference, which Congress that will be held in Manila, Philippines, 1 to 4 October 2022. Is jointly hosted by Apache and the Philippine Society of Allergy, Asthma and Immunology, and will also have the Golden Jubilee celebration of the PASAI. And this is very important because also Felicidad Kuala Lim, a leader and founder of Apache, actually was one of the past presidents of Apache. And we will be having a Felicidad Memorial Lecture also at this event. And finally, I cannot end my talk without thanking the Apache team. Each and every one of our staff have worked relentlessly, overtime, on weekends, in odd hours, and without them, this Apache 2021 would not have happened. So thank you to the Apache team. And with this, I welcome you all once again, and I would like to officially launch Apache 2021 International Conference. Video. Officially launch Apache 2021 International Conference. Super. That is